with corruption. And the multi-party parliament is the oversight body, because in parliament, you're all watching each other and making sure that everybody is behaving properly. Whereas in the cabinet, it's only cabinet members who are doing their business.
Currently, we are faced with a quagmire as this committee of having to make a determination on an allegation of undue influence in the police. An influence that an executive action has encroached to operational framework in the police. So you have also spoken about the responsibilities of the minister of the Minister of Justice, and my reading is that you seem to have reservations on the present responsibilities of the Minister of Justice. So are we likely to see a situation, even if these allegations in the police are anything to go by, are we likely to experience the same scenario in the Minister of Justice of an allegation of an encroachment by the minister because maybe of an ambiguity either in the legislation or in the constitution by the minister interfering in the work of the NDPP? Is that a possible scenario because of how the current legal framework is designed? And if so, then how can it be avoided?
Thank you. As far as the police are concerned, I've made the point in the written submission. If the Glenister 2 decision was in place now, the Minister of Police would have absolutely no say in the matter at all in relation to what he has purported to do in respect of the political killings task team. He wouldn't have been in the loop. It would have been anti-corruption work, which is what political killings are about. And that task team would not have existed. It would have been the job of the Anti-Corruption Commission to dig into it. So I think we must be careful not to try to preserve too much of the existing framework when all that the court has said is in relation to corruption, it's necessary to have a party outside executive control if you want to have effective anti-corruption work in the country. And that being the case, you're going to, I think it would be a good idea to give the National Director of Public Prosecutions greater independence and to curtail the powers of the Minister of Justice insofar as that body is concerned. And I'm talking in general now, not just in relation to corruption. But as we sit here now, we're in this mess because Parliament, long before MK was formed, decided not to create a body outside executive control when it amended the legislation in relation to the Hawks and its anti-corruption mandate, which is only part of the Hawks mandate. I mean, priority crimes covers all sorts of things that have nothing to do with corruption.
So when you say to curtail powers of the minister, you mean the minister must not even play oversight, must have no oversight responsibility over the NPA?
Yes, what the Constitution says at the moment is that the Minister of Justice has final responsibility over the NPA, which led to Vusi Pikoli losing his job and to much friction between the executive and the NPA. But if the NPA is given greater independence. It doesn't have independence at the moment. If you look at the section, we've all been staring ourselves blind at that term, without fear, favor, or prejudice. It's in section 179.4. And that section says, national legislation must ensure that the prosecuting authority exercises its functions without fear, favor, or prejudice. So it's a purely operational thing. It's not about the structure. It's not about the chain of command. It's not about who is the boss and who isn't the boss. It's about doing your work impartially. And for all sorts of devious reasons, that has been understood to mean that the NPA is independent. It's not. It's enjoined to be impartial. And to make matters worse, the national legislation referred to in section 179.4, that legislation that must ensure that the prosecuting authority acts impartially, doesn't exist. There is no such legislation.
So does this final say that the minister has also relate to prosecutorial work? Does it also relate to prosecutorial work? If maybe there's prosecution that is being done in KZN, the matter escalate for the minister to make a final determination of whether the matter can be prosecuted or not, or that lies solely in powers of the NDPP as the final arbiter in that context.
The NDPP is the author of prosecution policy. If the work that has been done is within the parameters of the prosecution policy, which has to be concurred in by the minister, and the minister comes along and seeks to interfere, there'll be trouble. But as matters stand, prosecution policy must carry the concurrence of the minister, which means that the NPA is not independent. That's the only way you can read section 179. There is no other way to read it. Well, no other honest way to read it.
Okay. So I think this is my last question. So what is your final conclusion now within the context of allegations that this committee is investigating? Have all these shortfalls that we have alluded to had an impact in these allegations? Maybe if they were all closed, if they were not present, maybe we're not going to face allegations like this. Is that your final assessment?
I think that had there been a body outside executive control looking after the corruption or the incidents of corruption with impunity at high level in South Africa, this committee would not have put so much energy, would not have been called upon to put so much energy into dealing with the matter. And to my way of thinking, as respecters of the rule of law, the members of this committee will look at the big picture, see that the Constitutional Court has ruled that a body outside executive control is required to deal with corruption effectively, and it will see to it that the parliament to which it belongs does the necessary to honor the decision of the Constitutional Court in Glenister 2, which has not happened so far. And the way to do that is to debate the Breitenbach bills, which are pending, properly, refine them, make sure that they have no rough edges, and make them law, because then you will not have to have an ad hoc committee trying to decide whether this minister or that minister or the other deputy minister has intruded across the lines between executive control and operational work, because those lines won't exist anymore.